Yeah, it is extremely based, but I have both strong opinions in which I agree with, but I also think there's room, a little bit of room for some nuance with this one. So it says, Candace Cameron Bure, who looks very good for her age, in my opinion, draws left-wing anger after confirming that Bill Abbott's new Great American Family Network will keep traditional marriage at its core. Now, if we do get cut out, or they're like, now they're cutting us out at an hour and 18 minutes for traditional values conversation.
Must be targeted directly at Candace Cameron Bure.
So it says, the same forces that led to Hallmark's new woke direction and subsequent creation of the Great American Family Network are now targeting the fledgling entertainment venture for refusing to make the same mistake its predecessor did. And I'm going to read her quote here. She says, I think Great American Family will keep traditional marriage at its core, said the actress. Now, this is Candace Cameron Bure. She was talking to the Wall Street Journal. I do want to point out that
was when they specifically asked
about it,
whether programming on this network is going to feature same-sex couples. And it's honestly strange that they would ask a question like that. And it begs the question that Hallmark was all about showing same-sex couples. And okay, the history of how Great American Family came into the possession of Bill Abbott, its new CEO, is interesting because he was at Hallmark, or at least Hallmark's parent company. What is it? Crown Family Media or something like that. He was there for 2 decades, and for 11 of those, he was the CEO. And it seems like he almost got ousted because he didn't agree with the decision to feature an ad for a wedding planning service that featured a same-sex couple kissing in it.
Yeah.
And so firstly, they received backlash from their mainly conservative audience for having this ad. They pull the ad, and then they get backlash from the progressives because they're being homophobic.
That was the worst thing they could have done is pull the ad at that point.
Then they apologize, put the ad back, and then promise to feature a bunch of same-sex couples in their new movies. And it's completely artificial and completely planned by HR reps, and it didn't resonate with either side that they pissed off. It was totally pointless in the end.
There needs to be an actual, you know how we talk about the consultant class? There needs to be a guy whose job it is to be like, whatever you do, you either pull the ad and you stand by it, or you commit to it. You do not try to play both sides, because when you try to play both sides, neither side wins.
That happened at the end of 2019, and then Bill Abbott left Hallmark in 2020 and then acquired Great American Family.
And here's what Hillary Burton said. Now, Hillary Burton is somebody that has worked on Hallmark movies in the past. She was also a very popular character that I liked in the show White Collar. Very, very good.
The snark is palpable.
Yes. So she says, now they're just openly admitting their bigotry. I called this S out years ago when Abbott was at Hallmark. Glad they dumped him. Being LGBTQ isn't a trend. That guy and his network are disgusting. You too, Candy. There is nothing untraditional about same-sex couples.
Which is quite literally untrue.
This is my point. It shows her level of projection here, because what it is yes, it is untraditional. The problem is you're the one who's assuming that being untraditional means bad. We can all have our own opinions on what that is, but she's projecting something that isn't there. It's not that Candace Cameron Bure said, we don't want to have this in there because we think it's bad. She comes off looking like the more reasonable person here, just because she keeps on message and doesn't stray away from a positive framework, right? So when people break down into this type of zealotry, which is what I do believe this is, there is a stark difference in how Candace Cameron Bure is relaying what she's talking about with her with this new company and what Hillary Burton is saying. It's kind of like what a guy named Tim who wears a beanie used to say about, I don't know if you know who that is, but he would talk about how conservatives would win people over because as you ban the more over the top people and all that's left are middle of the road ones wearing suits, those people seem more reasonable and they draw more people in. I feel that when somebody comes off that insane with their tweets, which comes off as both virtue signaling and a little bit maniacal, you lose people. You lose people like me who doesn't have a problem with gay marriage, who does not have a problem with even seeing it on. But with seeing it on screen. But it's like
what she's saying doesn't even make sense to the crowd she's trying to appeal to. Yeah. The angle that there's nothing untraditional about same-sex couples, it doesn't make sense because the official narrative at this point, as the goalposts have been moved, is, yes, there is something untraditional about same-sex couples in media, and that's a good thing. And we are discarding all traditions, and you should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't reflect your life or the lifestyle of anybody you know, maybe, you should still celebrate that this is being portrayed on television. Also,
I do want to point out that there is a long way, like there's a big in-between route between like a gay same-sex couple in a Hallmark movie and Bros. like
yeah, Bros was a major failure at the tone of how like a normal rom-com is supposed to go.
Also, let's face it. When this stuff happens, whenever somebody complains and they want to go do this stuff, they say, "Well, go if you don't like it, go make your own channel, go make your own social media."
Then when you do, they shit on you and try to get you censored.
They follow you there and complain. So what's the point?
So also, next thing she said in response to Candace Cameron Bure saying that the GAC network are good Christians that love the Lord, she said, "Bigot. Yeah. I don't remember Jesus liking hypocrites like candy, but sure, make your money, honey. You ride that prejudice wave all the way to the bank."
The snark is insufferable. And that's what I'm saying. They lose people like me, who is more middle of the road. I'm not going to be down with what they're saying because you're being a dick.
Right, exactly. And also, like, Candace Cameron Bure hasn't said anything negative about Hallmark.
That's what I'm saying about her delivery.
She is the exact opposite tone. She's unbothered. Yes. She's doing something positive and creative rather than destroying something.
And people will gravitate to that eventually.
And all someone like Hillary Burton Morgan is capable of doing is complaining and destroying and tearing things down.
And I say wokeness it's like that. They cannot build anything.
It's a black hole.
They couldn't even build it new with the Hallmark Channel. They had to build it off the backs of more traditional couples, more traditional stories. And this is what I was talking about yesterday, right? Like, what makes it woke is that you can't do it on your own. Yeah. It's that you have to wait until something is established, has its audience, has its foothold, and then you come in and bring your story that nobody seems to want. That's not me saying that. That's numbers saying that nobody seems to want, and then get mad when they don't like it because you've shoehorned yourself into a place where somebody else built themselves up in a meritocratic method. So the other pushback, I will say, I do wonder sometimes if maybe conservatives lose a little bit of the plot when they talk about, they want stuff like this, right? And I agree. I have no problem wanting to see traditional values on screen. That's certainly would be my preference. But it does still fall into the same, I want to see myself on screen. I want to see stuff like me on screen. It's just slightly less skin deep than this color of your skin. It's saying, these are my values and I want to see them reflected on screen. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying it's something to consider when you push back on the argument that people want to see themselves, meaning their skin color.
I disagree.
Okay.
The ordinary representation narrative, especially as it relates to showing same-sex couples, is I want to see what's wrong with me on screen. And anything functional, I want it to not be on screen ever. So the representation narrative is about seeing themselves on screen to the exclusion of everybody else being seen on screen ever. And then what someone like Candace Cameron Bure is proposing is, well, you do your thing, I'll do mine. Yeah. And I don't think that the essential desire to see characters that reflect your lifestyle or your values on screen is the same as that narcissistic impulse to project all of your pathologies and all of your ideological hang-ups on screen. That's not the same thing.
I'm not even saying I'm making that argument. I'm saying that if I'm looking at it from the other side of the aisle, I can understand that argument that, like,
they're not even bringing up that argument because they're stupid. So maybe don't even do the hard work for them of bringing it up.
I would try to steel man the argument if I could. That's just the way I saw it. And like I said, like, to me, stuff like this, it's like, it's what you said. They're off doing their own thing. Just go do your own thing and allow other people to do their own thing and understand that it's a good thing that everybody has options. right? Isn't that the whole point of these type of capitalistic endeavors, is that somebody has a need. Candace Cameron Bure finds a need in society right now. People want to see traditional stories told on screen that support family values, that support this type of feel-good message. That's a need. That's a story that people want told. And it's also true that, let's face it, why does every story need to include something from another community? Sometimes that's not the story you're telling, and that's fine.
Why does it need to be about the minority always? When that's not representation according to like the real demographics of society, that's actually amplifying something that is not as relevant as you think it is.
It makes it seem more common than it is in society. By the way, guys, I just want to give a heads up. We're at an hour and 12. We're coming up on 118.
The pressure is rising.
On. So it says she's feeling a need, and then people have to get in here and tell her off for it, which sucks. She also got this is a letter. It's a post made by her daughter, Natasha. Is it Natasha? Natasha, is it Burr? Is it Burr or is it?
I think it's Burr.
I always say Burr. I don't know if it is, but that's fine. This is a message from her after the pushback that she got in the media. She posted a picture of her family, and she says, I love you, Candace Cameron Bure, for continuously choosing Christ before all. The media is an absolutely vile space for negativity, and I applaud you every time for how you handle yourself with the utmost grace. As they continuously twist the narrative to beat down the kingdom, you stand firm in faith and never let others dim your light for him. No matter how out of context or warped the words may get to the enemy will not prevail. Society has gotten completely out of hand with believing every strategically worded headline broadcasted by the media, followed by cancel culture, which is nothing but ugly. It is so incredibly sad to watch. I am lucky to get to view you from a lens closer than most and see how you are truly the real deal. The Lord shines through you time and time again. The battle is his. So they've clearly done a very good job of raising their family to not bow to social pressure.
They feel
confident
in what they're doing
in Christ. And I imagine that it's what's kind of scary to me on that is like the faith that someone like her or you that might put in Christ that gives you that heart to push forward when everyone's telling you you're wrong or that you're this or you're that. It's like they have it from their own weird, creepy, ideological, religious type perspective, but it's filled with so much less compassion and so much more hatred to me.
Yeah. Believe Christianity or not, it's true that it's in the Bible. It says you will be hated for following Christ. Yep. And not in the self-indulgent way that people embrace oppression narratives now. Yep. It's not that you're supposed to indulge yourself in feeling put upon. It's that it's supposed to give you more heart, that you're going to have a greater reward later on.
Yeah. And I think like it's just, and it feels so much more healthy to me. Like as somebody who's not religious, like who's just maybe just because growing up in the confines of a majority Christian or Catholic society, right here in America, it feels like there's just so much more room for forgiveness and growth there, and more live and let live than seems to be applicable to what's going on with
this would be different if Candace Cameron Bure were going on Twitter getting in a back and forth with Hillary Burton. She's not doing that.
I do want to point out here, Bree Louise says Candace Cameron Bure was just being sassy to Alex Clark from Politics for some reason recently, actually.
I would love to know why.
I think she didn't like something Alex posted in regards to Halloween. They're going cat fight.
Ooh,
is Alex Clark religious? I don't know.
I doubt it. But I don't know.
Okay. So we will see. I think it's interesting because they always tell you, go out, make your own things. Go out, do this. If this is what you value, make your own social media platform. Oh wait, not like that. Amazon pulls your servers.
Right. They say make your own Twitter, and then they want to take it away from you when you do. Yep. And then when you make your own Hallmark, they want to take that away from you. That's why you can't listen to them in the first place. Yep. It's all completely dishonest. Yep.
Johnny Derp says faith is a bulwark against hopelessness.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and we talk a lot about how there does seem to be a general trend upwards in hopelessness, in doomerism, whether it's, Gen Z being scared out of their gourd every single day about how the world is ending because of climate change and all these things. And as religion becomes less and less prevalent in this country, it's like the fear goes up and the coping skills and the faith goes down, and society suffers as a result. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.